Nadine here. I am just getting ready to do the whole usual. um, it's Act 3 to 5 of Macbeth. We'll be streaming in a moment. I'll be just letting some people know that it's going on, and then we'll be getting ready to go. Just gonna share that out. And get that going. Bong bong. Josiah, Cap. I love you guys. I do. You guys are great. I just love it. Okay. We are... Oh, I don't think my right scene was on. So there we go. That better? We're probably better. I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. Haha. Yay, thanks, Cap. Okay. So let's see. How are we? I'll have to pull that out over here a bit further. How's our focus? Yep, this should be good. And I shall ride you to thy doom. You guys are awesome. You guys are just awesome. I could just sit here all day and not even bother with the Shakespeare. Well, we'll play the Shakespeare. Okay, so here we are, Macbeth, Act 3 to 5.
Act 3 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 3, Scene 1. Forres, the Palace. Enter Banquo.
Thou hast it now, King, Cawdor, Glamis, all as the weird women promised, and I fear thou playedst most foully fought. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their speeches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Senate sounded. Enter Macbeth as king, Lady Macbeth as queen, Lennox, Ross, lords, ladies in attendance.
Here's our chief guest.
If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me. to the which my duties are with the most indissoluble tie for ever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Ay, my good lord.
We should have else desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is it far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better, I must become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We here, our bloody cousins, are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse, adieu, till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Ay, my good lord, our time does call upon's.
I wish your horses swift and sure afoot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell.
Exit Banquo.
Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourself till supper time alone. While then, God be with you.
Exeunt all but Macbeth and an attendant.
Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure?
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us.
Exit attendant.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then prophet-like they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my grape, thence to be wrenched from an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind, for them the gracious Duncan have I murdered, but rancours in the vessel of my peace only for them, and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come fate into our list, and champion me to the utterance. Who's there?
Re-enter attendant with 2 murderers.
Now go to the door, and stay there till we call.
Exit attendant.
Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you. How you were borne in hand, how crossed, the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion crazed say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us?
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours for ever?
We are men, my liege.
Ay, in the catalogue ye go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, choughs, water-rugs, and demi-wolves are clept all by the name of dogs. The valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who wear our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on't.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True, my lord.
So is he mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nearest of life, and though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not, for certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall who I myself struck down, and thence it is that I to your assistance do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
Though our lives...
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight, and something from the palace, always thought that I require a clearness, and with him, to leave no rubs nor botches in the work, Fleance's son, that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart, I'll come to you anon.
We are resolved, my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within.
Exeunt murderers.
It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Exit. Act 3, Scene 2. The Palace. Enter Lady Macbeth and a servant.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Ay, madam, but returns again to-night.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Exit.
Naught's had, all spent, or our desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy.
Enter Macbeth.
How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone, of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died with them they think on? Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the world suffer, ere we will eat our meal in fear, and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. Nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests to-night.
So shall I, love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while, that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou know'st that Banquo and his Fleance lives.
But in them nature's copies not a turn.
There's comfort yet, they are assailable. Then be thou jocund, ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate's summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse. while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvellest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 3, a park near the palace. Enter 3 murderers.
But who did bid thee join with us?
Macbeth.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
Then stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day, now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely inn, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses.
Within.
Give us a light there. Ho!
Then 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation are already in the court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do, from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk.
A light! A light!
Enter Banquo and Fleance with a torch.
'Tis he.
Stand toot.
It will be rain tonight.
Let it come down.
They set upon Banquo.
Oh, treachery! Fly, good Fleance, fly, fly, fly! Thou mayst revenge. O slave!
Dies. Fleance escapes.
Who did strike out the light?
Was not the way?
There's but one down. The sun has fled.
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away, and say how much is done.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 4, the same, hall in the palace. A banquet prepared. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords and attendants.
You know your own degrees. Sit down. At first and last the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir, to all our friends, for my heart speaks, they are welcome.
First murderer appears at the door.
See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth, anon we'll drink a measure the table round.
Approaching the door.
There's blood on thy face.
'Tis Banquo's then.
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That did I for him.
Thou'rt the best of the cut-throats, yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance escaped.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound in to saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe?
Ay, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head. The least a death to nature.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
Exit murderer.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouched while 'tis a-making. 'Tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit.
The ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place.
Here had we now our country's honour roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present. Who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance?
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleased your highness to grace us with your royal company.
The table's full.
Here is a place, reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, my good lord. What is it that moves your highness?
Which of you has done this?
What, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion. Feed, and regard him not. Are you a man?
Ay, and a bold one, that dare look on that which might appall the devil.
Oh, proper stuff! This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which, you said, led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself! Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but on a stool.
Prithee, see there, behold! Look, lo! How say you? Why, what care I? If thou canst nod, speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the maws of kites.
Ghost of Banquo vanishes.
What, quite unmanned in folly?
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fie, for shame!
Blood hath been shed ere now, in the olden time, ere human statue purged the gentle wheel. Ay, and since, too, murders have been performed too terrible for the ear. The times have been that, when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all, and him, we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Re-enter Ghost of Banquo.
Avaunt, and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare, I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hyrcan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble. Or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence!
Ghost of Banquo vanishes.
Why, so, being gone, I am a man again. Pray you, sit still.
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder.
Can such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud, without our special wonder? You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health. Attend his majesty.
A kind good night to all.
Exeunt all but Macbeth and Lady Macbeth.
It will have blood. They say, blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by magpies and choughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning, which is which.
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know, by the worst means, the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the season of all natures, sleep.
Come, we'll to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 5. A heath. Thunder. Enter the three witches, meeting Hecate.
Why, how now, Hecate? You look angrily.
Have I not reason, beldams as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part, or show the glory of our art? And, which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that, distilled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes 'bove wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy.
Music and a song within. Come away, etc.
Hark, I am called. My little spirit, see, sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me.
Exit.
Come, let's make haste. She'll soon be back again.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 6. Forest, the palace. Enter Lennox and another lord.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interrupt further. Only I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead, and the right valiant Bencan walked too late. Home, you may say, if it please you. Valiants killed for valiants fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thoughts how monstrous it was for Melcolen and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father. Damn fact! How it did grieve Macbeth! Did he not straight, in pious rage, the two delinquent steer, that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Ay, and wisely too, for it would had angered and heart alive to hear the men denied. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that had he Duncan's son under his key, as am not please heaven, he shall not, they should find. What it were to kill a father, so should Philians, but peace, for from broad words, and cause he failed. His presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear, Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell where he bestows himself?
The son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court, and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone, to pray the holy king upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Siward, that by the help of these, with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our knights, free from our feasts and banquets bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive free honours, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king, that he prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macbeth?
He did, and with an absolute, "Sir, not I," the cloudy messenger turns me his back, and hums, as who should say, "You'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer."
And that well might advise him to a caution, to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England, and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Exeunt. End of Act 3 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 4 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 4, Scene 1. A cavern. In the middle, a boiling cauldron. Thunder. Enter the three witches.
Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice and once the hedge-pig whined.
Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time!"
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad that under cold stone days and nights has sturdy won, sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog. Adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing. For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and goof, of the raven salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of ewe, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's chaldron for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good.
Enter Hecate to the other three witches.
Oh, well done! I commend your pains, and every one shall share in the gains. And now about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in.
Music and a song, black spirits, etc. Hecate retires.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
Enter Macbeth.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is it you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yesty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their waters' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak.
Demand.
Will answer.
Say, if thou'dst rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Call 'em, let me see 'em.
Pour in sow's blood, that hath eaten her 9 farrow grease that's sweetened. From the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame.
Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Thunder. First apparition, an armed head.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth. Beware, Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough.
Descends.
Whatsoe'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Thunder. Second apparition, a bloody child.
Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth.
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man. For none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Descends.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies and sleep in spite of thunder.
Thunder. Third apparition, a child crowned with a tree in his hand.
What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion metal proud and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspires are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Birnam wood to high Dusnane hill shall come against him.
Descends.
That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet bodements, good! Rebellion's head, rise never till the wood of Birnam rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time immortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Oh, boys.
Show.
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 Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
A show of 8 kings, the last with a glass in his hand, ghost of Banquo following.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former. Filthy hags! Why do you show me this? A fourth! Start, eyes! What? Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet! A 7th! I'll see no more. And yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more. And some I see that twofold balls and treble sceptres carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-boltered Banquo smiles upon me, and points at them for his.
Apparitions vanish.
What? Is this so?
Ay, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say our duties did his welcome pay.
Music. The witches dance and then vanish with Hecate.
Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stay I accused in the calendar. Come in, without there.
Enter Lennox.
What is your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring your word. Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Ay, my good lord.
Time, thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done, the castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool, this deed I'll do before this purpose cool. But no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 2. Fife, Macduff's castle. Enter Lady Macduff, her son, and Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madam.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom. To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion, and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch. For the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight, her young ones in her nest, against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love, as little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband, he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows the fits of the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times, when we are traitors, and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumour from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way, and move. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long but I'll be here again. Things at the worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessing upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I am so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Exit.
Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'ldst never fear the gnat nor lime, the pitfall nor the gin.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they are not set for. My father is not dead, for all your saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Thou speak'st with all thy wit, and yet, i' faith, with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Ay, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools, for there are liars and swearers enow to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'ld weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Poor prattler, how thou talk'st.
Enter a messenger.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honour I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence, with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks, I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Exit.
Whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defence to say I have done no harm?
Enter murderers.
What are these faces?
Where's your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayest find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou liest, thou shag-haired villain.
What, you egg?
Stabbing him.
Young fry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother. Run away, I pray you.
Dies. Exit Lady Macduff, crying,
Murder!
Exeunt murderers, following her.
Bring me where they are.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3. England, before the King's palace. Enter Malcolm and Macduff.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfallen birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolour.
What I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what I can redress, as I shall find the time to, friend, I will. What you have spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest. You have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child, those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without leave-taking? I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country, great tyranny! Lay thou thy baseness sure, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs. The title is afeard. Fare thee well, lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st for the whole space that is in the tyrant's grasp, and rich east to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right. And here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name. But there's no bottom, none, in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. And my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such an one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne, and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink, we have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a staunchless avarice, that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their lands, desire his jewels and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer-seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath poisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none, the king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
O Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern, no, not to live. O nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again? Since that the truest issue of thy throne, by his own interdiction, stands accursed, and does blaspheme his breed. The royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee, oftener upon her knees than on her feet, died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeat'st upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. O my breast, thy hope ends here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over-credulous haste. But God above deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself, for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own, at no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What I am truly is thine and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed before thy here approach, old Seward with 10,000 warlike men already at a point were setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things, at once 'tis hard to reconcile.
Enter a doctor.
Well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you?
Ay, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
I thank you, doctor.
Exit doctor.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil, a most miraculous work in this good king, which often, since my here remain in England, I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven, himself best knows. But strangely visited people, all swoln and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery, he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers. And 'tis spoken, to the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne, that speak him full of grace.
Enter Ross.
See, who comes here?
My countryman, but yet I know him not.
My ever-gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that makes us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stands Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy, the dead man's knell is there scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute teems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant is not battered at their peace?
No. They were well at peace when I did leave 'em.
But not a niggard of your speech, how ghost?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, an older and a better soldier, none that Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer this comfort with the like. But I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause? Or is it a fee-grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, keep it not from me, quickly let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard.
I guess at it.
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered. To relate the manner were on the quarry of these murdered deer to add the death of you.
Merciful heaven! What, man? Ne'er pull your hat upon your brows, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children, too?
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence. My wife killed too?
I have said.
Be comforted. Let us make medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. All my pretty ones. Did you say all? Oh, hell-kite! All? What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on, and would not take their part? O sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee. Not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine, fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger. Blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Oh, I could play the woman with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue. But, gentle heavens, cut short all intermission. Front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length, set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, we go to the king. Our power is ready. Our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking, and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer ye may. The night is long that never finds the day.
Exeunt. End of Act 4 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 5 of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Act 5, Scene 1. Dunsinane, anteroom in the castle. Enter a doctor of physic and a waiting gentlewoman.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since his Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed, yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what, at any time, have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech.
Enter Lady Macbeth with a taper.
Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life, fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see, her eyes are open.
Ay, but their sense is shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damned spot, out, I say. 1, 2. Why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier and afeard. What need we fear who knows it, when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What, will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord, no more of that. You mar all with this starting.
Go to, go to. You have known what you should not.
She has spoke what she should not, I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Here's the smell of the blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh, oh, oh.
What a sigh is there! The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
Well, well, well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those who have walked in their sleep, who have died holily in their beds.
Wash your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on's grave.
Even so?
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come, 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 come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Exit.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, God, forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. My mind she has mated, and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 2. The country near Dunsinane. Drum and colours. Enter Menteith, Caithness, Agnes, Lennox, and soldiers.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revengers burn in them, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and grim alarm excite the mortified mon.
Near Burnham Wood. Shall we well meet them? That way are they coming?
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is a Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad, others, that lesser hate him, do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands. Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Meet we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge, each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds, make we our match towards Birnam.
Exeunt, marching. Act 5, Scene 3. Dunsinane, a room in the castle. Enter Macbeth, Doctor, and attendants.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Birnam Wood remove to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth. No man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false thanes, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, and the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear.
Enter a servant.
The devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon! Where gottest thou that goose-look?
There is 10,000...
Geese, villain!
Soldiers, sir.
Go prick thy face, and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of my soul! Those linen cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence.
Exit servant.
Satan, I am sick at heart. When I behold... Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or disseat me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life has fallen into the sere, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, as honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have. But in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not. Seaton!
Enter Seaton.
What is your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor.
'Tis not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Skir the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased, pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raze out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart?
Therein the patient must minister to himself.
Throw physic to the dog. I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on. Give me my staff. Seaton, send out. Doctor, the thanes fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound in pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb, cyme, or purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hearest thou of them?
Ay, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Birnam force come to Dunsinane.
Aside.
Were I from Dunsinane, away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 4. Country near Burnham Wood. Drum and colors. Enter Malcolm, Seward and young Seward, Macduff, Menteith, Caithness, Agnes, Lennox, Ross and soldiers marching.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host, and make discovery err in report of us.
It shall be done.
We learn no other, but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane, and will endure our setting down before it.
'Tis his main hope, for where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war.
Exeunt, marching. Act 5, Scene 5. Dunsinane, within the castle. Enter Macbeth, Seaton and soldiers, with drum and colors.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come. Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home.
A cry of women within.
What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
Exit.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise rouse and stir as life were in it. I have supped full with horrors. Direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me.
Re-enter Seaton.
Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle! Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Enter a messenger.
Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it.
Well, say, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon, methought, the wood began to move.
Liar and slave!
Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming. I say, a moving grove.
If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution, and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood do come to Dunsinane. And now a wood comes toward Dunsinane. Arm, arm, and out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is no flying hence nor tarrying here. I gin to be a-weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow, wind! Come, rack! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 6. Dunsinane, before the castle. Drum and colors. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff, and their army with boughs.
Now near enough, your leafy screens throw down, and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon's what else remains to do, according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight, let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 7. Another part of the field. Alarms. Enter Macbeth.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the course. What's he that was not born of woman? Such a one am I to fear, or none?
Enter young Seward.
What is thy name?
Thou'lt be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou call'st thyself a hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou liest, abhorred tyrant. With my sword I'll prove the lie thou speak'st.
They fight, and young Seward is slain.
Thou wast born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by man that's of a woman born.
Exit. Alarms. Enter Macduff.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face. If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. There thou shouldst be. By this great clatter, one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him, Fortune, and more I beg not.
Exit. Alarms. Enter Malcolm and Seward.
This way, my lord. The castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day almost itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We have met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Exeunt. Alarms. Act 5, Scene 8. Another part of the field. Enter Macbeth.
Why should I play the Roman fool, and die on mine own sword? Whilst I see lives, the gashes do better upon them.
Enter Macduff.
Turn, hellhound, turn.
Of all men else I have avoided thee, but get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee, out!
They fight.
Thou losest labour. As easy mayest thou the entrenched air with thy keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee, Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that patter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted on a pole, and under it. Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield, to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Birnam wood be come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, Hold, enough!
Exeunt. Fighting. Alarms. Retreat. Flourish. Enter, with drum and colours, Malcolm, Seward, Ross, the other thanes and soldiers.
I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought but like a man, he died.
Then he is dead?
Ay, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Ay, on the front.
Why then, good soldier be he. Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death, and so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He is worth no more. They say he parted well, and paid his score. And so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Re-enter Macduff with Macbeth's head.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
Flourish.
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace we will perform in measure, time, and place. So, thanks to all at once, and to each one, whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
Flourish. Exeunt. End of Act 5. End of The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare.
So, we're all done. My God, guys, you are hilarious. It's so great. It's so awesome. Oh, jeez. You guys, like, just go all out on the whole fighting force thing, don't ya? And that's just awesome. Oh, we'll get this out of the way. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I told you, you guys are great. This is awesome. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Boot cap. No, Cap won't get booted. I'm sorry, honey. Cap just won't get booted. Okay, so we are now done Macbeth. And so on Thursday at the usual time, why did the time just leave my mind? 7 Central, did I say before? It's here somewhere. Because 7 p.m. Central. Yeah, so 7 p.m. Central, we'll get on the, what is it? Much Ado About Nothing is the next one up. And it'll probably go into... that's fine, Cap. I know you're having some troubles with your internet and that. Hopefully you can. If not, you can't. The show must go on. The show must go on. So we've got
Much Ado About Nothing.
We've got, let's see here. I'm going.
Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 5 of Much Ado About Nothing.
That better. Sorry, I muted the wrong one. So you guys heard all the me trying to figure out how long the thing was, but okay. I hopefully find an internet horse. I will have it on the 13th of August. Yeah, so it looks to be about like everything else. It's about an hour for Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central, and noon on Sundays Central. So, yeah, that's about it. So it'll be about an hour for Tuesday night and an hour and 20-ish minutes, I guess, for Sunday. So we'll keep up, and we'll join if you can. If you can't, that's, I guess, the way it is. And you guys are freaking hilarious. I love it. Oh, boys. And congrats on the school stuff. Cap, I'm glad you managed to get that straightened out. And yeah, hopefully we'll get your internet straightened out and all that kind of fun stuff. Might have tests those days, and Tuesdays is when my test for math is. Yeah. Okay. Well, we can always figure out a move, since it's not like it's hugely like I'm not set in nothing I do is set in stone, and if you're gonna be one of my regulars, we can always change things around. I'll see about changing that around. We'll have a talk with you offline and get that all figured out. So thanks for coming, guys. And it's check out if you haven't already, like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye.